What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. And Kevin Feige is out here talking about superhero fatigue and kind of missing the entire point when people talk about this particular genre, or in his case, Marvel itself, and the fatigue that people are feeling from watching Marvel films, okay? And it has nothing to do with the fans at all right? People are not fatigued from superhero films. They're fatigued from Marvel, okay? Marvel is where the fatigue lies, and it really comes down to just straight up laziness. I mean, if we're just to be honest about this thing is just 100% laziness on the behalf of Marvel, because Marvel seems like Marvel is fatigued with making all of these crappy movies and television shows that they just keep rolling off the assembly line in their little formula, whatever, okay? You keep cranking out a bunch of formulaic type movies, people are going to get tired of that. Where's the originality? Where's something interesting and different that we haven't seen before, all right? It's funny because in this article, this is on the Direct, of course, where he's making these comments. And in this article, he kind of has this quote. I'm going to come up to it right here. All right, look at this. We look at an overarching narrative, always using the comics and the 80 plus years of Marvel Comics history as our guide to what general long-term story we want to do, okay? So he's like, yeah, we got 80 plus years of Marvel Comics history, okay, that we could tap into, we could dig through all kinds of characters out there, all right, that they could really go deep, make something interesting, make something fun, unique, kind of like they did with the first three phases, okay? But this last phase that just came out did none of that, okay? They didn't tap into the 80 plus years of Marvel storytelling, all right? They went back to like 10 years ago and started talking about all the nonsense that's been done within the last 10 years. And on top of that, like I said, there's just kind of a general laziness about the way Marvel goes about their business, all right? They don't really have any interesting insights or ways to tell these particular stories. All they're doing is just, hey, Marvel formula, it's worked before, it'll work again, just push it out, right? Just churn it out like, assembly line, stamp, boom, stamp, boom. And they just keep churning crap out, crap. That's all we've gotten in phase 4. And for example, we've seen like the CGI issues, right? Like they've been commenting on how lazy this CGI looks, okay? And they had to actually come to the defense of the Marvel VFX artists over CGI problems and alleged workplace issues. It's terrible that a lot of artists feel rushed and feel that the workload is too massive. This was from Jessica Gao. She actually had to kind of explain, yeah, Marvel's asking for way too much stuff and they're just overburdening these CGI guys, all right? So like the CGI that we got in something like Avengers Endgame, where Thanos looked like a living, breathing, walking person on screen, we're getting like a cartoon character in She-Hulk, right? I mean, everything about Marvel has just gotten lazy, right? Lazy, because they're so reliant on their formula, okay? And that's the antithesis of good storytelling. When you have some sort of a formula and you're just going to pop out a whole bunch of movies, you're not really telling us a good story, all right? And it shows. Audiences get tired of this. It's like, I've seen this before, right? I've seen this before. Like, why do I have to spend more money to get pretty much the exact same thing I got before? Yeah, you guys are doing the whole diversity and all of that kind of stuff. All right, we're going to put more women in. We're going to put more minorities in. All right, but you're not telling us good stories, so nobody cares. All right, because that's not what the people came to see. They didn't come to see a bunch of women and a bunch of minorities. They came to see a good stories. Women and minorities can be a part of that, fine. But the story has to be good. It starts with the entertainment value. But everything that Marvel does, like here's another example. Take a look at this. So Disney released 6 new official posters for Ant-Man 3 Quantumania, right? And you're saying like, yo, DA, what's the big deal? It's just a bunch of posters, right? They always release posters. But they always look the same. They have the same look. This is the kind of crap I'm talking about. Like, this is the first poster, a little 3D poster or whatever. It's like, whatever, it's nothing interesting, all right? The IMAX poster looks kind of plain Jane, right? All right? The Dolby poster, again, same thing. It's like there's nothing interesting looking about these posters, okay? It's the same formula that Marvel has been cranking out. Look at this one. Just faces stapled into the background with, different little spots here and there, and then the logo. That's it, right? These guys are lazy, man. Another one. This actually is more interesting than the other posters that we've seen. But nevertheless, it's still kind of formulaic, isn't it? Like, this is the main poster, and you can just kind of see just like, what is this? It looks like every poster Marvel has done for like the entire past decade, right? Every poster looks exactly the same. So how can you expect fans to get hype? How do you expect them to get hype for this? But back to this article, it says, as to the question of superhero fatigue, it's something that people were asking since his second year at Marvel. I've been at Marvel for 22 years, over 22 years. Yeah, it's mostly looking the same like 22 years ago. You've been doing the same crap, okay? And I think through the first 3 phases, everybody was kind of like, okay, this is like a phase, a saga, all right? Beginning, middle, and end, all right, cool. Now he's coming up with, phase 4, 5, and 6, but phase 4, 5, and 6 are kind of looking like the same thing as phase 1, 2, and 3, except with less interesting characters and a whole lot of gobbledygook just crammed into, a couple of years, right? We got like 18 or 19 different little Marvel Cinematic Universes projects crammed in between 2021 and now. And it's like, it's overwhelming, it's too much, and people are just checking out. From probably my second year at Marvel, people were asking, well, how long is this going to last? Is this fad of comic book movies going to end? And I didn't really understand the question, because to me, it was akin to saying, after Gone with the Wind, well, how many more movies can be made off of novels? Do you think the audience will sour on movies being adapted from books? There's a big difference with that, because novels, as you know, are like self-contained stories, right? A comic book, you can have multiple iterations of different characters. You can have different runs. We've talked about that before, where novels and comics are not really a one-to-one comparison, all right? You really can't compare novels to comics, okay? They're different mediums, different types of storytelling goes into both of those particular mediums. So I don't think you can really make that comparison. There's going to be other single stories that can be told, like Gone with the Wind, okay? Just like any script or any, different television series or whatever, they're all just like different self-contained stories. But what happens is that with comics, you kind of get into this malaise of telling the same kind of story over and over and over, right? That's why people say, man, stop telling us origin stories, right? We know what happens with Spider-Man and Uncle Ben, okay? We know what happens with Batman and the Pearls, okay? And, because people weren't really ready, I think at this time, when he's talking about his first couple of years at Marvel, people weren't really ready for like all of these various characters that you see coming out now, okay? So now you can come in, you can tell different origin stories with different characters and all of that is fine. But the issue is that if you're going to continue to push the same formula that Marvel has been pushing, all right, you're going to get fatigued because nobody wants to see this, all right? We've seen it. We've done it. You've done it better with better actors and better storylines. You've already hit the peak of that. So I don't think it's anywhere but downhill now, okay? You peaked out with Endgame. You're done. At this point, I think Marvel has to reassess everything that they're doing, okay, if they want to get away from the feeling of fatigue, because fans are checking out, all right? We've seen it. Fans are checking out. Nobody's going to see these movies like they were seeing them before, all right? Toy sales are down. People are just not checking for this stuff, all right? And I don't know how this Ant-Man movie is going to do, but Box Office Pro seems to think that it's going to do pretty well. It's given its initial forecasting, saying it's probably going to be the first $100 million opener. I mean, probably it's a Marvel film. A lot of people are going to go check it out, right? It's coming up on President's Day weekend, right? So it's going to be a 4-day weekend, good timing. Marvel's always right on top of things with the timing. And they have it sitting here right around a $96 to $131 million opening. They think domestically it's going to do somewhere between 249 and 347. So we'll see. It's going to get its China release as well. So that's going to help it on its way to being a $1 billion movie. Listen, they need that kind of buzz right now. Marvel is desperate for that type of buzz where they're getting $1 billion movies back again, okay? Because ever since Spider-Man No Way Home, and again, that's a Sony property, okay? It's not Marvel. It's not the MCU on its own, okay? It's a Sony property. They have yet to have a $1 billion movie since Endgame. So think about that, all right? They haven't had one. They're trying to push Black Panther in. Hopefully that will take Black Panther over the $1 billion mark. So we'll see what happens. But, Ant-Man, this it looks cookie cutter. All right. It looks like a formula movie. It looks like something that's like, whatever. I've already seen this movie. Why do I want to go and check this out again? I think that's going to be interesting to watch what happens with Ant-Man and Marvel going forward. Anyway, folks, what do you think about this superhero fatigue issue? And in my opinion, just laziness on Marvel's part, not doing anything interesting or different from what they've done for the past 3 phases. Why would you expect fans to just eat and gobble all of this crap up when you've already done it better, with better characters and better storylines 10 years ago or whatever? Go ahead, get down in the comments. Let me know what you think on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.